let's give this a good go then. Hey, it's LJ and welcome to another episode of LJ Reacts. If you've just stumbled across this YouTube channel, this is where I do my little reaction videos. Basically, it's me kind of looking back over what I've missed in the pop culture world in the last sort of 10 to 20 years and sort of just, you know, trying to take in some of the culture that I seem to have missed just by virtue of having to, you know, live and grow up. All things that are so fun in this environment currently we live in. But yeah, still, you've got to have a little fun sometimes. So that is what this is. Mostly I listen to music tracks. If you go through the channel, there's a couple of trailer breakdowns on there. I'm looking at doing some video games over Christmas, so if that's your bag, stick with it. Those will probably be going up Christmas time, possibly going into the New Year, so that's something to look out for. But right now I am sticking with the traditional music reaction videos. Of course, I do take suggestions for these. There is a list that I am slowly working through, even if the speed I'm doing it is at the speed of a tectonic plate, but I am getting there. So if there's something you think that I might enjoy, and if it's something I've not listened to before, I will take it on board, but chuck it in the comments below if I have listened to it before. Sometimes, well, saying that, I had someone recently suggested Linkin Park in the End, which I think is the last video that just went up. Obviously that's a big song. I was, when I was 13, I was really, or 15 or however old I was really sort of into Linkin Park, especially that song. So I actually went and I found an alternative version. So the guy who suggested that, if that wasn't what you were if that wasn't what you were sort of feeling, I'm just trying to stick by the sort of rhetoric I've sort of set myself for this channel. But yeah, I hope, to the guy who suggested that, I hope you enjoyed it. So, what am I doing today? Well, I'll get to that in a minute, but first just got to get the general housekeeping out of the way. You can, like I said, like, share, subscribe, because if you like it, someone else might like it, so if you share it and they like it, they can share it and they can grow the community that way, and it does give me more motivation to do this. While I have fun doing this, it's more fun knowing that there's going to be people watching, so I'm just going to throw that out there. If you do like this though and you want to keep an eye on me, you've got my socials there, my Twitter, my Facebook and my Instagram. If you want to come see me live in person, I do live stand-up comedy from time to time. I also do other little projects, all of which you'll find listed on the little link tree just there. And of course, if you're feeling extra generous, don't worry, I understand current times you may not be, and I'm not going to hold that against you, but still, you can still chuck some money in the tip jar there. You know, I'm not even asking for much. It's a couple of bucks just to keep the water glass full, really. But it just shows that extra level of appreciation. So, without further ado, let us talk about what we are doing today. So, I've said this before, my biggest viewerships always seem to come from one band, and that band is, of course, NightWish. And I have nothing against that. They're a great group of people, the people who commented, even if they're not most positive, they can be quite constructive. So yeah, I have no problem with them as a community. So I will, you know, delve back into the NightWish category, back catalogue, because they've got some great stuff in there. So what am I doing today? Well, this one is actually on YouTube, at least. It's a fresh release. It is so it's from, what is it, Live at the Island Cafe, is it? Something like that. It is Live at the Islanders Cafe, and it is a live show that they did during COVID, so it's not actually live, it's all done completely VR. So I will see how that looks. It You know, it could be amazing. It could just be me going, so that's it, is it? So that is what I'm doing. What is the track I am doing? The track I'm doing is Last Ride of the Day. This is off their Imaginarium album, was it? And was used as the anthem for the 2011 Hockey World Championship. So, to all you Canucks out there, you're probably very familiar with this track. Other than that, I don't really know what else to say about this track, so I've not really looked into it. It just came up on my feed in the last couple of days that they'd just stuck it up on the YouTube channel, so I thought, well, I do like NightWish tracks. I'm always told they're best live, so it's just going to be an interesting experience. See how, as a performer who does live stand-up and who over the pandemic did not live stand-up, there is such a weird difference. I joked a lot about how doing Zoom comedy was, answering the question we didn't know we needed by finding out finally what it was like to do stand-up to the Brady Bunch. But there is something about that lack of reaction. In my case, it has happened when I'm doing it in the back of bars to 4 people, where I'm greeted by silence. But there is something about the lack of an audience that does affect what you do, and the audience reaction can inform the way you perform on stage. So when you're doing it to a virtual audience, it's hard to describe if it's not something you've ever done, but there is such a weird disconnect. I'm guessing it's the difference between if I was doing this to a live audience, my presentation would probably be a lot different to doing it to a camera, because presenting something like I'm doing here, I can cut, and you see a lot of my videos where I stick outtakes at the end because it doesn't make a difference. Okay, so I've wasted a bit of time, but I've got something I can play around with and stick it at the end as a little bonus for anyone who likes watching those sort of things. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how a quote-unquote live performance is done to a room which essentially has no audience in it. Although comparing that to this is not right. It'd be more accurate to compare it to my Zoom gigs, because with Zoom gigs I couldn't just press stop on the camera and go back if something happened in a live Zoom gig, which I did actually do a live Zoom gig where there was like a gimmick where the control of the gig was actually being taken over by hackers, and so they had like a lot of sound cues, and so every link between each comic would be the hackers sort of jumping in and doing something, and someone leant on the button during my gig, during my sort of 7 minutes that was a bit there, and so and it's one of those things of because it was still live, even if it was to an electronic audience, I still had I'd sort of turn around, spin something which I think was like, oh, what's that? And they were just like, oh, it's the hackers. I was like, well, there's hack on stage, so there might as well be hacks in the system. But it's one of those things of although it was essentially to a taped audience, you still had to do it. You still had to present it as you would live, and I actually got quite a good reaction for that, just working on the fly like that. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting experience. Yeah, like I said, flashback to when I was doing things like this in the pandemic. Yeah, thank God we all got back to normal. I say that as someone who has seen a slow decline in live event attendance, but what can you do? So let's crack on with this. Let's give this a listen. Let's see what NightWish we're doing down at the Islanders Cafe.
Okay, before I continue, this is the instantly the first thing I've got in my head. So, believe it or not, I'm a bit of a nerd. I know, I'm shocked too. Um, so yeah, there used to be a show on the Sci-Fi Channel called Sanctuary, and it was done majoritively with CGI sets. Um, and this would have been mid-aughts, mid to late aughts, and the whole setup they've got here mixed with the sort of music they are, it's very much reminding me of that. It's very much what I think it would sound like had they had a better budget. But the Sci-Fi Channel is the Sci-Fi Channel, so what can you do?
Recognize the faces loving us, so it's God. If not the spark that started life's my love, the stranger search stories run the skies, wonder mystery within a micro goes early breakouts in a moving home center, fresh smoke blasting the morning sun, open the heart it's waiting for.
Flora is just amazing. I can see why all you NightWish fans say she's essentially a goddess. I totally get the appeal. Yeah, it's weird because there's something about the mix that isn't what you would have on a standard studio album. But because there's not the crowd reaction there's not anyone singing along, there's no cheering. It's I don't know. It's such an oddball thing. Let's keep this going.
Such an incredible high. It is hard to light a candle, easy to cast the dark instead. More than the dawn of humanity, last light of the day.
Again, the scenery is that is such a weird choice. I love that they've done that. They've made up this Islanders Arms, as I can now see by the title in front of me, and just decided that they're gonna include like external shots, like I guess like you'd have like the crane cam doing like the sweeping shots of the crowd. It's like, well, they don't have a crowd, so they're just gonna do the scenery that's not really there. So it's an interesting way of doing it. yeah, it's not just Floor that's amazing in this band. It's, you know, they have other great musicians in there. It's not really something that comes up much on in the comments, I've got to admit. But yeah, no, they're fantastic, some of this stuff.
Once upon a night, we went to the carnival of life. Beauty of desire had such an incredible high. It's hard to night or count the easy to cross the dark instead. Told that the night of humanity, that's what love has made. Once upon a night, we went to the carnival of light. Beauty of desire had such an incredible high. It is hard to night or count the easy to cross the dark instead. Told that the dawn of humanity, that's what love has made. Let's light up for joy. Let's light up for
Well, that was good. That really was. I do love doing these NightWish video reactions. It's just hard for me to. Sometimes I don't even know what to say because it's a case of, well, Four's amazing. The symphonics just resonate so well. Just everything else is. I can just go over it all the same, but I feel I may be in danger of repeating myself. But let's have a quick sort of think about, you know, let that settle in for a moment, and then we can get to some final thoughts. So yeah, here's what I thought about that. So what are my thoughts on that? Yeah, so like I say, I'm really into the NightWish stuff I'm doing. That was an interesting experience. I said earlier how weird it is to be doing essentially a live gig to a canned audience. When I was talking about Zoom gigs, I knew that there were people there because I could see them. If there were people there, they weren't showing up on the video. The video seemed to be just the CGI green screen stuff with no visible audience, which is interesting. Then again, given my experience of seeing what people are like on Zoom audiences, I feel even a NightWish audience on Zoom would kill the aesthetic somewhat. What else can I add? So yeah, it was a weird experience because they were obviously doing it live. They had the way the wireless mics were set up, so they had the earpieces in so they could hear what they were doing. That's what, you know, the monitors. That's the word. So they could see the earpieces attached to the monitors, so they could hear what they were doing, which is, you know, what you do in a live situation. Which, as I've done that, I've had that as a comedian. That's a weird thing because your own voice overpowers the audience, which kind of defeats the object. But I can see as a musician why it would help you rather than hinder you. But yeah, there was, like I said, the mix was different from what I'd expect on a studio album because it was done live, which really is the thing that mostly stood out. Just there was something off about the mix because it didn't have the sort of effects that they didn't tinker. You sort of tinker with stuff in post-production, maybe put a bit of reverb or chorus or something on it to add a little depth to it. Something that you wouldn't necessarily notice live in a crowd, but live like that, there is something a little, I don't know. So like I said, it's a song I'm not familiar with. Look at me. Do I look like a hockey fan? But I feel today I could pass for someone who'd be standing at the side of the ice, just because of the hoodie. But still, not a song I'm familiar with. Although, saying that, some of the hooks in it do sound familiar. I don't know if it's a case of, like, I don't know, the AC/DC thing where some songs sound like other songs just because of the fact that that's the style they're in. I don't know. Maybe I'm feeling that with NightWish. I don't know. I do want to listen to that again. I don't know. Obviously, I will be once I'm starting to piece this all together. That I'll have to listen to sort of 3 or 4 times for various editorial reasons. But I might even. Don't know if I want to track down the studio one and compare it, because I feel that wouldn't be fair. Just because if it was a true live one, it would be fairer, just so I can compare it. But I guess really all that's left to do is for me to just give it like a ranking for it. It is a good song. It is a song I enjoyed listening to. It's I will feel a couple more listens to it, probably. We gotta sing along to certain parts. As a compared to some of their other stuff, though, it's fine. It's not hitting the heights of Ghost Love Scene, but what does? Nothing on this channel so far. But I'm looking at giving it a low score, but that's not a knock on it. That's just praise for some of the other NightWish stuff that I've listened to on this channel. So yeah, I'm probably looking again. This is like a 6.5 song, which sounds harsh, but it's just because some of their stuff has set such a high bar. It's hard for me to sort of look at the sort of more standard stuff objectively. So yeah, that's where I'm going to leave this one there. If you liked this video, obviously there's more like this on the channel. I know as of I'm filming this right now, I have a large number that are due to be edited. Hopefully most of them will actually be up by the time you see this. So yeah, it's been a while. As I record this, it's been a while since I've uploaded one. That's not because I haven't filmed it, it's just because I haven't edited them. Because anyone who does be it YouTube or podcasts or anything that requires any amount of editing, that's what takes the time with these I can knock out in half an hour. The editing then takes me considerably longer, just for reasons. So yeah, but like I said, if you haven't already, check out some of the stuff on the channel. I've got a couple of unsigned bands on there, because why the hell not? A couple of great local bands who I've seen live and really enjoyed. So check them out, because who doesn't want to support new music? Even if you don't watch my videos of them, watch their actual stuff, because they've got some good stuff out there. Other than that, yeah, just the standard like, share, subscribe. Because if you like it, someone else likes it, we can grow community together, and it'll be amazing. I do, because I'm trying to break 3 figures with subscribers at the minute, which is it's taking me a while, but I'm getting there. So yeah, if we can push me over 100, I'd appreciate that. Of course, you can, if you like me here, you can like me elsewhere. You can, of course, see me in real life. I've got a couple of stand-up gigs coming up. Not a great amount at the minute. I need to start getting some in the diary, but you can see the diary as well as everything else I tend to work on right here on my little link tree, and anything. And if you really, really feel inclined, chuck us a tip, because why not? I appreciate the thought. I appreciate you watching. Until next time, that's all I got for now. So, been LJ. It's been emotional.
Hey, and god damn it. And it might help if I had the sound turned on. Why does it look like my camera's too sloped? Well, this will be an interesting one to watch back. For a moment there I thought that wasn't recording, that would be mildly irritating. Okay. That's going to be fun to edit around.
Recording stopped.
Thank you very much.